Let's talk about Amazon ElastiCache. So the same way you get RDS to have managed relational databases, ElastiCache is going to help you get managed Redis or Memcached, which are cache technologies. So what are caches? Well, they are in-memory databases with really high performance and low latency. And what the cache will help you with is to help reduce the load off of databases for read-intensive workloads. The idea is that the common queries are going to be cached, and therefore your database will not be queried every time. Just your cache can be used to retrieve the results of these queries. What this also helps you do is make your application stateless by putting the state of your application into Amazon ElastiCache. And because we have the same benefits as RDS, AWS will take the same maintenance of the operating system, the patching, the optimizations, the setup, configuration, monitoring, failure recovery, and backups. Now, if you use Amazon ElastiCache, just so you know that it will require you to do some heavy application code changes for your application. This is not something you just enable and off you go, you have a cache. You need to change your application to query the cache before or after querying the database, and we'll see the strategies in a minute. So now let's talk about the architecture for using ElastiCache. And there could be many, but I'm just giving you an example. So let's say we have Amazon ElastiCache, an RDS database, and your application. The application will query ElastiCache to see if the query has already been made. And if it has already been made and it is stored in ElastiCache, then it's called a cache hit. And then it just gets the answer straight from Amazon ElastiCache. And we were saving a trip to the database to do the query. Now, in case of a cache miss, then we need to fetch the data from the database. So we're going to read it from the database. And then for other application or other instances where the same query will be made, we can write the database, the data back into the cache, so that such as the same query next time will result in a cache hit. The idea is that it will help relieve load from your RDS database. And because you're storing data in the cache, there must be a cache invalidation strategy to make sure that only the most current data is used in there. And this is the whole difficulty around using caching technologies. Another architecture is around storing the user session to make your application stateless. So the idea is that your user will do a login into any kind of your applications, and then the application will write the session data into Amazon ElastiCache. Now, if your user is redirected to another instance of your application, then your application can retrieve the session cache, the session directly from the Amazon ElastiCache, and therefore your user is still logged in and he doesn't need to log in one more time. And so the idea is that now you made your application stateless by writing the session data of your user into Amazon ElastiCache. Now, something that can come up in the exam is for you to understand the difference between Redis and Memcached at a high level. So Redis is a technology that allows you to do multi-AZ with auto failover, and the read replicas are used to scale the reads and also have high availability. So this looks a little bit like RDS. There is also data durability thanks to persistence, and you have backup and restore features. So this looks a lot like RDS. Whereas Memcached is using multi-node for partitioning of data, so it's called sharding. There is no high availability, there's no replication happening. It's not a persistent cache, there's no backup and restore, and this is a multi-threaded architecture. So we have multiple instances altogether working in Memcached with some sharding. So the idea here that you need to remember is that Redis really is here for high availability, backup, read replicas, this kind of stuff. Whereas Memcached is a pure cache that's distributed where you can afford to lose your data, there's no high availability, and there's no backup and restore. So these are the main differences that you're going to have between the two technology. So that's it. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.